Good morning. I'm Ruth Van Lillian, the minister of this congregation. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Tuscaloosa, a covenantal community founded on love and a common devotion to our free faith. We recognize all the earth as sacred ground, and we welcome each other into this virtual space. We especially welcome those visiting with us. We're so glad that you are here this morning. We invite you to connect with us through the comments or via our website or Facebook page. We join with all member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association in affirming and promoting our 7 principles, including the inherent dignity and worth of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, and the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. We bear witness to the pain and suffering of persons of color in our communities and across our country, and we continue in our commitment to fight injustice and to search for ways to build a better world. Black Lives Matter.
Good morning. I'm Anna Schubert, the lay service leader for today. There is a link in our order of service in the video description below, along with other useful information. If you are viewing from a smart TV, you may not be able to see the links and comments below. In that case, you can access the links and comments by going to the UU Congregation of Tuscaloosa YouTube channel through the YouTube app on your smartphone, tablet, or personal computer. There are a number of important announcements in the order of service, so be sure to check. Our church website and Facebook page have information about our online activities. Also, members and friends should read all the Newsnet emails and our monthly newsletter to stay updated on congregational matters. We also invite you to our online Zoom coffee hour immediately following this service, so that we may join together in real time for community and fellowship. See the link in the links and comments below, or in the Newsnet email. The prelude prepares us for the service.
Good morning, we are Chalice, and we are lighting this morning chalice.
We light the chalice at the beginning of worship to set apart the space for worship, and we invite you at home to light a candle, light a chalice, burn some incense, spray some air freshener, whatever you need to do to set apart this time at home for worship with your community.
We light this chalice as a beacon of our faith and as a reminder of our commitment to a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We worship together by celebrating that which is sacred to us individually and collectively.
Our opening words are call and response. I invite you to respond, "You are welcome among us." If you are a seeker, a questioner, a believer, or an unbeliever, you are welcome among us. No matter your national origin or ethnic background, you are welcome among us. No matter your race or the color of your skin, you are welcome among us. No matter your sexual orientation, or gender identity, you are welcome among us. No matter your education or income, you are welcome among us. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome among us. It is something to have wept as we have wept, and something to have done as we have done. It is something to have watched when all have slept, and seen the stars which never see the sun. It is something to have smelt the mystic rose, although it break and leave the thorny rose. It is something to have hungered once, as those must hunger who have eat the bread of gods. To have known the things that from the weak are furled, the fearful ancient passions strange and hard. It is something to be wiser than the world, and something to be older than the sky. Lo and blessed are our ears, for they have heard. Yea, blessed are our eyes, for they have seen. Let the thunder break on home and beast and bird, and lightning. It is something to have been.
When we gather in loving community, we remember that we do not travel this earth alone. We share our lives as we light candles and hold each other in meditative thought and reverence. I will light a candle in my home as you light a candle in yours, and we will observe a moment of silence while you share your joys and burdens in the comments below and engage with each other in celebration and condolences. I will now light a final candle for all those burdens and celebrations shared in our virtual spaces, and for those that went unspoken. May the warm light of these flames bring us peace.
Let us spend a few moments of silence as we think about all the joys and concerns that have been mentioned and have gone unspoken today. Then I will close us with a few words. We are made of the dust of distant suns, and we breathe molecules of oxygen from the dawn of the earth. We are connected with everything that lives, that has lived, that will ever live. Let us find comfort and strength this day in remembering that we are never really alone. We have each other's company on the journey, and right now, remembering that is very important. Amen. Shalom. Blessed be. Good morning, kids. I'm so glad you're with us today. I know going to church online is kind of weird, but we are making the best of things. And I've been thinking about summertime, what it means to be in summertime during a pandemic. It means we don't get to go everywhere we want to go or do all the things that we want to do that we think of as summertime things. So I was thinking maybe we could think about it at home and come up with some fun ways to play that would bring summertime home. So I dug around in my house. I came up with some things. I found some seashells because I love going to the beach in the summer, and I won't be able to go this year. Here's a wonderful big old pointy starfish. And here is a beautiful conch shell. You've probably heard that if you have a shell like this at home, you can actually try this. You put the shell up to your ear, and you can hear what sounds like the ocean inside the shell. What it really is the air moving around in the space inside the shell. But it does sound a little bit like standing near the ocean. So that's one way to kind of be at the ocean. Another thing that you can do is you could put on your bathing suit and ask Mom and Dad to set the sprinkler up outside, and you could play in the sprinkler. Or you could build a beach fort in your house, and you could pretend to make sandcastles and pretend to swim around the house and do other things that feel like beach things. They might even let you take a little bit of salt and put it on the tip of your tongue and remember what salt water tastes like. If you can imagine being at the beach this year, then we'll all imagine that we'll be able to go to the beach next year, we hope. Other things that make me think of summer are things like peaches. Oh, I love peaches. Maybe Mom and Dad could get some peaches at the store. You could slice them up and have them with vanilla ice cream, or chocolate if you prefer, but I like my peaches with vanilla. And I have a special ice cream bowl, and look, it looks like a watermelon, which is another thing we eat in the summer, one of my favorite things. I know it's hard. I know the pandemic is not fun, but we can make it, and we can find ways even to make it fun. So I hope this week you can find some summer fun and continue to stay safe and well. Bye-bye.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Out of gratitude for all we've been given and all we have now, we share our resources because we love and trust one another, and because this church enriches our lives and empowers us to make our whole world better. We rely upon each other, members and friends, and we appreciate the payment of pledges and generous donations to support the legacy, vision, and work of this church community. Contributions may be made through PayPal by using the link below in the description, or by mailing checks to UUCT. All undesignated contributions will be divided between our Split the Plate partner and our congregation. Our Split the Plate partner for this month is shown on the screen as you're listening to this. Please mark your pledge payment to UUCT in the comments field on PayPal or the memo line of your check. If you prefer to write a check directly to our partner organization, please mail it directly to the address we include in the description of this video. The offertory music will continue in this window as you open a new window to make your contributions. By the generosity of our hearts and the work of our hands, our love is made real. Thank you for your generous gifts.
Jesus and Buddha walk into a bar, and Jesus calls the bartender over. "Hi, friend. May I please have some water?" The bartender pours a tall glass, and Jesus stares at it for a few moments. The bartender notices Buddha rolling his eyes. Sorry, he does this all the time. Just ignore him. What is he doing? Trying to turn the water into wine. Buddha shoved Jesus with his shoulder. Show off. Okay, says the bartender. Well, what can I get for you? Before he can respond, Jesus says, he'll have a Nirvana teeny. The bartender looked confused. What's that? Jesus grins and responds, just make him one with everything. Okay, so Rabbi Jesus and the Buddha never actually met or had a drink together. But I'm guessing both of them had enough of a sense of humor not to mind a little irreverent joking at their expense. Actually, it's kind of at our expense too, isn't it? It costs us something to look at such great teachers from history as human, as flawed, as funny. It costs us a little pride, a little hero worship, a little bit of our spiritual footing. Only a little for us Unitarian Universalists, because most of us have become accustomed to looking at everything religious critically, skeptically, even suspiciously. So a little joke about two of the world's great historical spiritual teachers doesn't faze us much. But does this mean we've discarded all their teachings as meaningless? Have we decided we're too intellectually grown up to learn anything useful from Rabbi Jesus or the Buddha? I got a Facebook post last night. A nice fella I grew up with, who is now a Methodist minister, just put his young son into the children's hospital in Birmingham. They're afraid that he has COVID-19 multi-symptom inflammatory syndrome, which some of us have seen on the news. It's terrible. I'm scared for that child and for his father and his mother and his brother. I'm scared for all the children, and I'm just scared. During this time of the COVID pandemic, wouldn't it be nice if there were some words somewhere, some ancient wisdom in which we might find some encouragement, some solace, some hope? Anxiety is a kind of fear. It's a sort of low-level background fear that never quite goes away, like a ringing in your ear that won't stop. I have become aware in recent weeks of anxiety in my life, of this feeling of dread, this feeling that something bad is going to happen. For me, it is helpful to remind myself of the wisdom of the great teachers, of some of the words that their followers remembered hearing, and then finally wrote down many years later. Such as when Jesus is supposed to have said, "Your Father in heaven makes his sun rise on the evil and the good, and sends his rain on the righteous and the unrighteous." And Buddha's similar words, "That great cloud rains down on all, whether their nature is superior or inferior. The light of the sun and the moon illuminates the whole world, both him who does well and him who does ill, both him who stands high and him who stands low." The similarity of these teachings is comforting to me, in the same way that finding more than one reference helps to confirm a new idea or insight, or that multiple doctors' opinions lend weight to a diagnosis and treatment. I feel a bit more confident in wisdom that is shared across culture and time. What I hear in these readings is that, well, it's what we all keep telling each other. We're all in this together. It isn't just happening to some, but to all of us. Jesus also said, "You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free." And Buddha said, "One who acts on truth is happy in this world and beyond." What I hear in these is the power of remembering what we know to be true when life is unpredictable and causes us anxiety. What do we know to be true? We know we are each persons of worth and dignity. We know whom we love and who loves us. We know the bonds of love and friendship are more powerful than anything we are facing now. These are truths, and they do make us free. Something else I am aware of in this difficult time is the temptation to blame. Blame is a kind of anger forced either inward or outward at someone or something that has caused us hurt or fear. We can blame ourselves, and we often blame others. I have heard a lot of blaming going on lately in the news, and it does not seem to be helping. Now, I believe that people need to take responsibility for their decisions and actions, and sometimes we must use societal structures and pressures to hold people accountable for their mistakes. But lately, there's so much fear and so much anger, and a lot of resulting blame is being thrown around. That kind of blame leads to hatred, and hatred damages the soul. Damaged souls destroy each other and the world around them. Let's look again to the two great teachers to see what wisdom might help us to avoid such toxic blaming. Rabbi Jesus taught, "Why do you seek the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? How can you say to your neighbor, 'Friend, let me take the speck out of your eye,' when you yourself do not see the log in your own? You hypocrite! First, take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbor's." The Buddha taught similarly, "The faults of others are easier to see than one's own. The faults of others are easily seen, for they are sifted like chaff, but one's own faults are hard to see." Blaming is easier than careful consideration. Blaming others is easier than self-examination. When everyone is under stress, it is easier to point the finger elsewhere. I must take a breath and look inward, seeking to take the log out of my eye before I start tending to others. There are two other passages in which the great teachers address blame. The Buddha taught, "Do not look at the faults of others or what others have done or not done. Observe what you yourself have done and have not done." Rabbi Jesus responded to those who wish to follow the law and stone to death the woman caught in adultery. "Let anyone among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." I hear the teachers encouraging me to focus more on how I might strive toward being my best self. Observing our faults is the first wise step in finding ways to be better people. And at times like these, that is particularly important. Rabbi Jesus and the Buddha were both big on love as the main thing. In love, there is hope. The news is always full of the worst images of human behavior because they are the exception. Millions of people muddle through their routines, even during the pandemic, extending courtesy and kindness to one another every day. The reporters don't interview them, and the cameras don't catch them at it, but it is all around us. Kindness is so common, it is boring, and it doesn't make the news. But it does help make our chaotic lives worth living. Rabbi Jesus told his friends to love each other as he loved each of them. The Buddha went further. Cultivate a boundless heart towards all beings. Let your thoughts of boundless love pervade the whole world. That sounds like good advice for living a meaningful life during a pandemic. Boundless love pervading the whole world. Kind of like a virus. Contagious, unstoppable, spreading everywhere. We could live with that. Amen. Shalom. Blessed be. Winds be still, storm clouds pass and silence come. Peace grace this time with harmony. Fly, bird of hope, and shine, light of love, and in a calm little light tranquility. Bird, fly high, lift our gaze toward a distant view, help us to sense life's mystery. Fly high and far and lead us each to see how we move through the winds of eternity. Light shining, illuminate our inward view, help us to see with clarity. Shine bright and true, so we may join our songs in new songs that become full symphony.
Please say our chalice extinguishing words with us.
As we extinguish this chalice flame, let us remember that we carry the light within ourselves, which brings healing to a broken world and hope for the days ahead.
Siblings and kindred, we are each engaged in the free and responsible search for truth and meaning in this difficult time. I hope that you can find truth and meaning even in the smallest things in your daily lives, and to remember that we are in this together. Go in peace.